What's good with the YouTube? A Convicts perspective. Coming at you live and direct. It's your boy, Flacco.
Hey, and it's your homie Rojo. Hey, today we're going to talk about an interesting topic, man. Just some random, chit chat. It's going to be about some of the interesting things and weird things that we've seen while we've been locked up. Man, and one real crazy one that comes to mind, man. I'm in the hole in Tracy. I'm on like L1 in the front section. And I had the celly from Merced, man. And we had a really nice stinger, right? Where we were able to warm up our coffee, water, for soups and whatnot. And he's got this bag going. He's got it in a sling, right? Got the stinger. You use a broken piece of light bulb and you run wires to the existing wires inside the light bulb. Screw it in. Well, you got a sling up there that holds the water while it's cooking. Well, this dude was a youngster, man. He was kind of a little bit on the spastic side, so he's sitting on the toilet right below the bag, right? And I don't understand why. You know what I mean? I tell him, I'm like, hey, you probably shouldn't be sitting there, bro. And he's like, oh no. He kept telling his little story. He thought he was one of them rappers and stuff, so he's rapping and banging on the toilet, being a general nuisance, right? Well, lo and behold, man, that thing gets to boiling. He reaches up, and as soon as he's about to grab it, the bag busts and just it all landed on him, man. Like, we're talking second-degree burns from face, neck, chest, and a little bit on the foot because he had on chanclas in the cell. Well, I bang on the door, man, because this dude's face and he's peeling. He's losing flesh, right? So I kick on the door. Staff comes. They don't even cuff us up, man. They see how he's doing and yank him out. Well, a few minutes later, they take him wherever. They come back and cuff me up, talking about what did I do to my celly. I'm like, man, that's my friend. I didn't do nothing to him. And they're like, oh, you had to, and do. And anyway, he ended up making a statement saying I didn't have nothing to do with it, man. But as far as just like some way out stuff, man, that water peeled him, man. It was boiling for a good couple minutes, man. And man, he didn't come back for a couple days, and when he did, he came back messed up, man. But yeah, that was pretty nasty, y'all. So be careful if you ever messing with electricity, man. Be smart about it.
Some of the funny stories I had, right? I'm gonna talk to you when I first got to San Quentin, my first day, man. They put you outside off the bus, and you're in this little square area. You know what I'm saying? My first day, this JCat black dude takes off on this other black dude out of random. It was just comical how it happened. So from there, I'm like, okay, this is prison. I'm checking it out. There's seagulls everywhere. Dude next to me gets pooped on by a seagull. I'm like, wow, this stuff is getting interesting.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Right, but this was nothing. This is my first time in prison. I get to the first tier, and I'm on the same block as Chente Rollball from San Juan, who was just with me in the county. I'm a first termer, and so it's shower time. So I'm hearing them. It's time to go to showers. So they walk me down there. I'm not that point to where later on in my career, I just started to decide, it's easier to bird bath in a place like San Quentin. So I decide to go to the showers. As I hit the corner, the first thing that I see, right? Remember, this is in the 90s, is this woman with the wrong equipment, as Rojo says it.
Oh yeah.
Naked in the shower, boobs hanging everywhere. And the biceps were chasing after this thing called Amanda. And I'm like, wow, this is prison, man. That's my first experience. I'm like, wow, welcome to prison, man. But throughout the years, you start to see crazy stuff, man. I've seen people jump off the tiers in Quentin, man, and land, and third tier, people climbing all over the place. Another situation, man, when I was in Solano, man, there was this homegirl. You know what I mean? It's a woman with the wrong equipment named Rachel from Stockton, right? And Rachel used to run actually kick it with the homies back then. It was a little different back then, You'd have a couple of chirojos. We call them chirojos. And she was selling up with this homie from Stockton. Excuse me. Whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I get confused, right? And this dude Joker was a lifer. Man, he came out the yard one time. He had hickeys all on his neck and everything, man.
Oh,
and this Rachel one time was playing handball, man, and we're laughing out of nowhere. Someone goes, look, man! I swear to God, man, right where Rachel's butt was, there was some blood marks, man.
Oh boy.
So what was going on in that cell, man.
Oh, no.
I seen numerous, you see some J-Cats in there do some crazy stuff, man. I seen one dude try to hang himself when he was in the pod. They pull him out. They take him out there. I ran into another individual when I was in the county jail. We just call him Blinky. He's from Gilroy, right? and he would blink all crazy, right? And you give him some coffee, right? We'd give him coffee because he was fun to watch. As soon as you give him coffee, he starts. This is in the hole, right? He starts walking around going, and he's holding his coffee and he's just blinking everywhere and stuff, man. And so it's just the comical situations that you would see in there, man, over and over again, man. And then another time, man, I'm in San Luis Obispo, man, and I'm walking. Once again, I don't know what it is about these men with these women with the wrong equipment. I'll call them, man. I hear it. Hey, it's an Asian one, and this Asian starts slapping his ass at me. But when it's in the shower, right? I couldn't keep a straight damn face, man. But I seen all kinds of like I said, I'm gonna let Rojo talk about some other ones, but man, the stuff that you see in prison, the crazy stuff, the J Cats, man. I've seen dudes go in the yard where they just start stripping down butt naked and just start playing with themselves in the middle of the yard, and they don't realize where they're at. Wow. You know what I'm saying? You know, triple CMS, EOP. You know what I mean? You see a lot of those individuals or they're talking about that they're under the HART program and that the government's using low radio frequency waves, and you start to wonder, man, is this from them being institutionalized? I mean, you see some crazy people and some crazy scenarios, man, that occur over and over again, man. You know, one of the funniest things I used to wake up to in San Quentin, right? Anybody who was in San Quentin Hole in 2003 and 2004, there was this one dropout on the first tier, man. And every morning at 5 o'clock when it was shower day, he would sing this song, man. And like, I swear to God, after a while, I started to sing this song too because it was so funny. And it went like this. He'd go, la, 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 now my balls are clean. Oh, wow. La, 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 shiny, shiny, clean. It's just, this is the type of characters you deal with in prison, man. I mean, you know, the homies seem normal compared to this stuff, man. But there's other people out there, man, with some mental issues and just crazy stuff occurs in there, man.
Man, I was on the Cascade Yard, man. And back when it was still all good to go to fire camp, I'm a first termer, so I'm going to fire camp, man. Only got me 17 points, right? Well, I was watching these two youngster black dudes from Sacramento. They were probably, man, they weren't older than 21. They probably weren't old enough to drink, right? But you do this PFT training, physical fitness training, and they got these mats out there for you to do like your calisthenics on and whatnot. They're all out there in the middle of the yard. And these black dudes would mess with each other, and one would kick like dirt on the other one's mat and vice versa, you know, little things. They'd hide each other's mats and stuff. You know, I just watch them, you know what I mean? No big deal. You know, they're just having a good time. No biggie. It's a 1 yard, whatever. Well, one day, one of the dudes goes to kick hella dirt on one of the pads, and he walks away laughing. He's over at his little pad, acting like he didn't do nothing. Man, this monster white dude, bro, one of them 600-pound bench pressing dudes, man, just Viking dude comes over, and he's like, "Hey, why'd you do that to my mat?" It was just hella funny the way he said it, because, man, little black dude was probably, man, he's 5'7", 117. White dude 6'6", 350, and bench pressing like everything on the weight pile. And man, it's just like, man, on the level 3 or 4 yard, that could have got you in the wreck. But I mean, white dude wasn't tripping because black dude was like, "Oh, sorry," and ran over and cleaned it off, man. But hey, the white dudes were funny, man. They used to there was hella seagulls, man. So the white dudes would take little strings and tie them to paper airplanes like kites, man, and they paint little Nazi signs on the bottom, right? So the little seagulls would take off, man, and they'd be getting chased. Man, they would freak them out because it seemed like the plane was chasing them, man, and they'd have all kinds of, you know, like little white power signs on them. Man, they used to crack me up in there, dude. And another thing about Susanville, man, it was the first time I had ever seen, how do we say this appropriately, is two men, you know, enjoying each other's company, I guess. Well, man, I'm a tier tender, man. I'm on the 3 yard. I'm in building, I want to say I'm in building 3, man. And I'm sweeping the upstairs cell, you know, getting all the trash together. And I always keep, you know, pointing. I keep Trucha out of the corner of my eye, you know, just to make sure nobody's trying to do nothing weird to me. It's kind of hard at Susanville the way the cells are set up, man, but it's just good general practice to be aware of your surroundings anyway. So I'm sweeping, man, and I happen to go by this one cell, and there's a gentleman or a young lady or whatever you want to refer to him, whatever's appropriate in this day and age, sitting on the toilet, and there's the cellie standing right in front of him, you know, feeding him. You know, that's the best way I could say it without getting the YouTube mad at me, but I was in shock, man. I swept the hell away from that place, man. I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, oh, the stories are true about prison. You know what I mean? I'm a youngster, right? And then, man, like the very next day, I'm going to yard, right? And I pop out of the three building, man, and right there, it comes kind of like to a V, the two sides of the building into the, the in and outdoor of the building. And I look over, and right up against the wall, there's some French kissing going on. But bear in mind, there's no genetically appropriate, females in there. So, man, it's a trip, man. You don't want to see stuff like that, man. Don't get yourself in trouble, man, because you're gonna see it. You're gonna get your eye busted, and it's gonna be inappropriate. And you'll never get disrespected in your life like you will from some of them PC cats and them J cats, man. Like, there's been plenty of times, I've discussed it before, where I thought this individual was normal, and he turned out to be just, being on his good behavior until he got a favor out of me, and then his whole self just got exposed, man. I remember there was a dude like 2 cells over from me, a white guy, and I didn't know anything, about him or whatever, man. He interacted with me cool on the tier, man, and the other white dudes messed with him, so I figured he was all right. Well, man, one night we shut down, and after we shut down, we're not allowed to talk unless it's an ASAP, which, I mean, that's basically an emergency. It's a very important must-see, document, mini writing, wheeler kite, whatever you want to call it. But he yells down to me. He's like, "Hey, Rojo." I don't answer him. He's like, "Hey, Rojo, I know you're awake. Hey, Rojo." And there was a black dude in between us, and he's like, "Hey, they can't talk after shutdown, bro. He's not, being disrespectful. He just can't talk." And he was like, "Well, F you then. Rojo's a snitch." He just started blasting me out hella bad, man. Had me all kinds of snitches and man, chomos, man. He had me all kinds of bad stuff at the top of his lungs, man. And then like a couple nights a week, every night after that, 3 a.m, man, he'd get to banging on his bars, and anybody who gave him what he wanted or whatever on the tier, man, they were a snitch. He seen them coming out of the IGI, man, giving mail to the cops, but he just went all for it, man. So, I mean, crazy stuff goes down in there, man. I mean, everybody knows, man, people yelling like that, they're nobody, so they don't take it serious, man. But, man, you never know, man. The wrong person can get the wrong idea being a new booty.
Yeah, I was in corporate shoe, man, and this one OG black dude, right, was set up with some youngster, man. And next thing you know, you hear this loud commotion going crazy, man. And sure enough, you know what I mean? Staff react to it. They pull out the youngster. He's beat bloody, man, bloody. And we ended up finding out the reason why, right, that had occurred is because this older guy was trying to basically trying to take his Sally's manhood. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff goes on all the time in there, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially within other groups or anybody that's not obligated to any type of political obligation, man. But I've seen crazy stuff, man. I've seen one dude, he was a J-Cat, and he wanted to be a woman so bad that he tried to tie a string around his private areas.
Oh.
To where it cut off the blood, to where he could cut off his own thing.
Oh, just like they do bulls, man.
You know what I mean? And they had to pull him out, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of stuff that you experience in there. I mean, there's also been some funny times, man. I remember September 16th. I was in charge of Tracy at that time, and I elected to let us drink. You know what I'm saying? And I had a harsh policy that we couldn't drink there. I know in Corcoran and the Bay, we could drink and stuff like that, right? But for September 16th, we had a whole different thing. Like, it was like we had a whole different roll call, which was Si Senor. We did everything totally different in honor of the expulsion of the NF and Mexican independence and everything like that. So I elected us to drink and stuff, man. And that was a big mistake, man. Because come 6 o'clock at night, for about 2 hours straight, I'm drunk. The brother Chuco, I don't know if anybody knows Chuco from Stockton. He used to go by the tier name Wino. I used to go by Flex. Man, we did cadence for 2 hours on the tier, bro.
Yeah.
Can't stop, won't stop. Whose house for 2 damn hours, man. And he's yelling, "Hey, Flex." And we're like, man, it's the only time that I can sit there and say that I actually probably deserved a DP, but there was no one there that could DP me.
Yeah, you know, I was in the Bay one time. I don't remember the occasion, but we were drinking also. Lucho from Hayward, he was an expert at making Pruno, bro. He had me trashed, like I was on the streets, like drank too much at the bar, trash. But anyway, the funny part of this story, man, is we're all drinking, and a BGF cat, man, I'm not gonna say his name, bro, But a BGF cat from LA area, he got really trashed, and man, they popped his door, bro, and he comes out of his cell naked, like naked, no socks, no nothing. And there's a white lady CO in the tower, bro, and he just starts telling her, he goes, "Hey, you know you want some of this firm black man booty?" Oh my god, bro. Hey, hey, keep in mind, y'all, I am trash, man. I had like 4 cups. So my celly was out to court, right? So I'm on the floor laughing so hard, but no sound would come out, because I didn't want to get in trouble because, man, it was dead quiet once he started acting a fool because he was out there naked as the day he was born, telling stuff to this white lady. And, oh, my God, I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard, man, and he didn't stop, man. Like, they brought, man, I don't know how many COs were out there, but he finally went back in his room, man, and needless to say, after that, I never got to drink again in Pelican Bay because of that incident.
So another time, right? First time in Santa Clara County Jail, I'm in the snake pits. Individual comes in with a big clavo, right? And he kicks us down. Let me remind you, back then, this was the 90s. We were getting high back then in the county jail. I mean, I was in 6B when an issue came through, and it was contributed to the household, where Chuko Gian, the current general, gave every homeboy an issue of crank and said you could do what you want with it. You could either use it, you could sell it, or whatnot. So that's how lax the policies were back then in 96. So I'm in the snake pits. He comes in with some dope. The dude seems kind of normal a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He kicks down some dope and everything. I guess one of the balloons that he swallows busted in him. Right? So next thing you know, he's in the cell and he's climbing around. And he's climbing up like Spider-Man and stuff, man. And he's telling us where's his cousin's baby. And he's looking under the beds and stuff. And we don't know what to do, man, because he's a homeboy, but he's just acting weird, man. Then when they pop us out, right, to go to chow, right? He's going up to the doors that haven't been unlocked, and he's trying to open them with his toothbrush like he has a damn key, right? Eventually, he goes up to the COs and asks them, where's his cousin's baby? He needs to babysit his cousin's baby. So from there, next thing you know, they roll him up. Next thing you know, we see him. I think it was at the time they used to wear, I want to say, I forgot, man, but there was some JCat color that they used, yellow. We've seen them in yellow in the court cases, as far as in the court tunnels. But man, stuff like that would happen all the time. Funny stuff and crazy stuff, especially when drugs are involved in prison. You're going to see some crazy stuff. You're going to see people getting raped. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that says that they haven't seen someone get raped, it may not occur now, because most of the people that are involved in that are mostly on SNY yards. But back in the days, we didn't have SNYs. We had chihuahuas out there on the yards. You know what I'm saying? So you had all kinds of funny style stuff that was occurring over and over again. People get crazy in there, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Like in places like Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, they're still down there stealing, manhood. You know what I mean? It's a whole different ballgame down there. And, I've done some time in Texas, in both as a juvenile and as an adult. And, man, I've seen some messed up stuff down there, man. But, it happens to those who, unfortunately, that they don't have nobody. They can't defend themselves, younger cats, whatever. You know what I mean? But, man, hey, California prisons are messed up, but I promise you there's way worse ones out there you could go to. I mean, we might have the most gang violence and stuff like that, but man, as far as all the weirdo stuff that happens in other places, man, we're kind of isolated away from that stuff based on our politics. Nah, bro, I've been in jail in Texas, man, and just in a few months, I've seen way more like disgusting and morally bad stuff happen in Texas than I ever have out here. That's just my personal experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot. It's just JCats, man.
I've seen a lot of snacks get took in Texas, man. Not like, actually like I was just watching it, but everybody knew what was going down. And I haven't just seen that in California, man, but I was only in an adult jail down there for about probably 5 months, man. And there were some horrible things happening to some of the people in there, bro. And I shouldn't laugh at it, man, but that's just going back on my story that California's, it's a little bit different, man, than other places as far as that kind of stuff goes. Well, YouTube, that was just a quick funny one, man, about some little funny experiences you see, man. But just keep in mind, man, ain't nothing fun in games about prison, man. There's bad stuff that can happen every time. man, yeah, you'll see funny stuff, but man, for the most part, all you're going to see is a bunch of misery, man. So go ahead and give us a like and subscribe, man, and we'll get back to you guys soon, man. This is Rojo. I'm out.
Lago, I'm out.